I'm Neely McQueen, and I'm here with my good friend and author of a couple books, one coming out in April, but this one in my hand, which has the most amazing title ever in the world of books.
You gotta love it.
The Zombie Apocalypse Survival Guide for Teenagers.
That's right.
Which is amazing. Amazing. But you're going to share a little bit, Jonathan, about how to get teenagers talking. I'm excited. I'm going to go take notes, but tell us, how do we get our teenagers talking?
Yeah, I love it. As a matter of fact, this is just a tool that gets us talking with teenagers. That's what a lot of my books are, is just ways to try to stimulate conversation with young people today. If you're a youth worker, parent, it doesn't matter. I don't know about you, but sometimes you find out you ask teenagers questions and it's just one word answers and you're like trying to get them to talk. So today I want to talk a little bit about how to actually get them to open up, how to get them to talk, how to get your teenagers talking. The number one, I'm just going to give you 3 pointers, okay? And these are 3 pointers that I've really just kind of learned probably through trial and error, through doing it wrong. The first one I learned was turning overreaction into interaction. See, parents especially, I think, struggle with this, and I'm a parent of a 16, 18, and a 20-year-old. So for me, this one is, really kind of close to home. But if my kids are starting to dialogue with me and have conversation, and all of a sudden they do something wrong or whatever, and I flip out, if I flip out immediately from my kids, it's like, oh man, don't talk to him. He's just going to flip out. Now, it's funny, as a youth worker, similar things have happened where I've started to build a relationship with a kid, and all of a sudden I have to turn into that disciplinarian. And if I overreact and do something bad, like where I'm just like, oh, listen, I can't believe you. And you do that, they think, shh, don't talk with him anymore. So we need to take that overreaction and we need to turn it into interaction. Here's another way I see sometimes youth workers and parents overreact. Sometimes it's like with the media today. For example, we jump on iTunes and we hear that they're listening to music. And let's be honest, our youth group kids, if we work with church kids, they're listening to stuff that we're like, I can't believe you got that in your headphones. And sometimes, have you seen it happen? Where we as adult leaders, sometimes we'll flip out and we'll jump into the lecture mode, right? We immediately start lecturing like, if you really knew what that did to your brains, and we start with this huge long lecture, or we find out that they're playing some new video that's really bad, and all of a sudden we're sitting there like, and if we ourselves do it, we'll jump into lecture mode and we'll sit there and say, hey, I've seen what happens in that video and I know. So, we need to take that overreaction and we need to turn it into interaction. See, I think it's good that if we saw a song or a video or something that we thought, oh man, that's not good. What if we, like the Apostle Paul in Acts chapter 17, when he saw all the idols that the people of Athens were worshiping, he thought, I'm going to use that tomorrow. And sure enough, on his message on Mars Hill, what's he do? He stands up and says, you know what? You guys are so religious. As a matter of fact, you're so religious. I saw that you guys were worshiping a bunch of idols, and you even worshiped this one that was an unknown God. Hey, I know who that is. Let me tell you who that is. And he started talking about the one true God. Wouldn't it be cool if we as youth workers and as parents didn't flip out, but turn that overreaction into interaction? That would be kind of a cool thing. That's one of the things I've learned because I am the king of overreaction. And it's sometimes I need to take that and I need to say, okay, I need to actually start interacting. But here's a different, and which really brings us to my second piece of advice, and that is move from lecturing to listening. And the reason why is sometimes we sit there and say, okay, I'll turn it into interaction. And here goes my first 45-minute speech. And we immediately start on some long, soliloquy. Oh my gosh, and we start going on and on. So I think that's where we as youth leaders need to just learn to shut up sometimes, as parents sometimes, because we say we're engaging in dialogue, but really we're engaging in a monologue. Okay? So when I say this, when I say move from lecturing to listening, I'm talking about dialogue, not monologue. This is really important for us as youth workers and as parents to actually have a dialogue, to move from lecturing to listening. Because what's funny? Sometimes we'll flip out and we won't even realize that this kid we're talking about wants help. And if we would just shut up and listen, this kid might ask us for help. So we need to move from lecturing to listening. Point number 3, and this is on how to get teenagers to open up, is I think it's fun to seek conversation springboards. Because sometimes you get that kid that doesn't talk. As a parent, I remember when my daughter was 14, it was so hard to get her to open up. How's your day? Fine. Anything happen? Nope. Was math good today? Yep. nice talking with you. You know, I mean, that's it. And that's like my conversation. You know, it was wonderful dialoguing with you this evening, you know. And sometimes we're like, you know, what can we do to get them to actually, you know, conversate a little more here? Well, sometimes we can use these discussion springboards. So find whatever it is that they like talking about. You know, in the youth ministry scenario, I always used to give my adult volunteers like those Y-jacks to plug in on their on the camp trips or the long trips, so that they would actually plug in to an iPod and say, hey, what you listen to? Let me listen in. And then you could start talking about music. You could ask why is Miley licking a hammer? I'm not sure. Does it taste good? You know, did she hear Lil Wayne's song Lollipop? What, I mean, I don't know. It just, you could use that and let them start telling you about it. Sometimes we see these things all the time. I'll share a personal example that I actually just shared in my workshop. It was, I saw this crazy guy here who, caught his daughter being bad on Facebook. She posted some rant about the family. And so he caught her and he flips out. And what's he do? He hacks into her Facebook account and posts his video, and then he shoots her laptop and stuff. Again, the overreaction thing. What was funny, when I saw that video, I told my kids about it. I'm like, have you seen the video of the redneck dad who shot his daughter? And they're like, no, let me see it. And I showed it to them, and immediately it started this huge conversation that would have never started if I would have said, let's talk about parental boundaries. But we had this 45-minute conversation about parental boundaries because we watched this video, and I just said, hey, was he right? And all of a sudden we had this conversation because I use this conversation springboard. And frankly, in our ministry, our website, the source for youth ministry, we have so many free resources and ideas. We're constantly trying to provide you with conversation springboards because that's what sometimes does the trick to get young people talking. Find out what it is that they're passionate about, what they enjoy, what they like, and start asking them questions about that. Get them talking. That's how to get your teenagers talking. What I've learned, thanks, I'm Jonathan, and I appreciate your time.